Hello! Welcome to a new series I'm starting called Hyrule Dissected. During this series I'm going to be taking a deeper look into Tears of the Kingdom's mechanics and how they work. This series is inspired by Illusory Wall's videos of a similar name, but with the Souls games. I highly recommend checking them out if you're interested in the Souls series. Today we're going to be looking at the HP values of every enemy in the game, and I'll also try to provide a bonus fact about each enemy as I go along, since HP values by themselves aren't really that interesting. A spreadsheet of all health values will be linked in the description if you don't really care about watching this video and just want the numbers. Please take all information I'm about to give with a grain of salt. I'm still trying to test and understand the numbers more thoroughly, and this video already took long enough to make. Without any further ado, let us begin. Regular Bokoblins have 25 HP, with blue having 72, black having 240, and silver Bokoblins having 720 health. One really neat detail is that with red and blue Bokoblins, they won't avoid your sightline if you have a bow drawn, whereas black and silver ones will, since they're more experienced in combat. The skeletal brother of Bokoblins, Stalkoblins, are a little different. Their body's HP is different from their head's HP, both only having 2. Arrows are completely ineffective against most stall enemies. Moblins have 35 HP, with blue ones having 106, black ones having 280, and silver ones having 840 HP. Like Bokoblins, these guys will also avoid arrows, but instead of them avoiding arrows in later tiers, only the red Moblins will never avoid arrows, with blue, black, and silver ones always avoiding them. By this point, I expect most people know that Moblins will throw Bokoblins in certain situations. If you didn't know, well, now you do. On the topic of stall Moblins, they have 3 body health and 3 head health. Lizalfos have 50, 120, 288, and 864 health respective of their types. As for the elemental variants, Fire Breath Lizalfos have 160, Ice Breath Lizalfos have 160 as well, and Electric Lizalfos have 288. Lizalfos don't really seem to avoid arrows, but they do jump around enough that they might as well always be avoiding them. If you're ever having trouble with them, the opposite element of Fire and Ice Lizalfos will kill them immediately. There doesn't seem to be a counter like this for Electric Lizalfos, but I found my own. Stall Lizalfos have 2 body HP and 2 head HP. I would show some actual footage of me fighting one here, but they are extremely rare and have no spawn locations for some reason. Thanks, Nintendo! Horriblins have 35 HP, with blue, black, and silver ones having 106, 280, and 840 HP respectively. I wish I had an extra fun fact to put here, but I unfortunately don't. Let me know in the comments if you have any. Now on to Constructs. Soldier Construct 1s have 15 health, 2s have 72, 3s have 160, and 4s have a whopping 720, which is quite the leap. One neat detail about these guys is that when they attack, their eye will glow, which can help you with parry timing or dodge timing. Captain Construct 1s will have 80 health, 2s have 200, 3s have 380, and 4s have 1200 health. Captain Construct's eyes will also glow when attacking. For those who don't know, Constructs do not respawn during Blood Moons. They instead go on a timer based on your actual time playing, so waiting at campfires does not respawn them. I want to say the timer is roughly 10 to 15 minutes, but I'm not entirely sure. Training Constructs are a weird, rare variant of Captain Constructs, and they can only be found in combat training shrines. To my knowledge, they don't have a proper health value, and for whatever reason, they don't even respawn whenever you go back inside of already completed combat training shrines. So if you intend on completing the compendium without buying pictures, I recommend leaving these off until you get the camera. Boss Bokoblins have 200 health. Blue ones have 400, black ones have 750, and silver ones have 1200. After blowing their horns, nearby Bokoblins will rally to defend the boss Bokoblin. After a certain point, they will blow their horns again, signaling the Bokoblins to attack you, which leaves the boss Bokoblin vulnerable. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about armor. All Bokoblin armor has 40 HP, so that means armor from blue Bokoblins to silver Bokoblins will have the same HP. Blunt and sharp weapons are completely ineffective against armor, with hammers being the only things that can break it. This is where the damage calculations get a bit weird. Using a cooking pot fused to a tree branch, which does 3 damage, breaks the armor in 14 hits, which checks out, but using a Moblin horn on a tree branch that does 8 damage breaks it in 4 hits. That doesn't equal 40 damage. What's going on here? Let me explain how the damage for weapons work. There are hidden multipliers for the 3 damage types that the game never tells you about. One-handed weapons do 1.0 times damage, so the same as they would normally, but two-handed weapons get a 1.05 times damage bonus, so 5%. For spears, they deal a staggering 0.75 times damage, so literally 25% less damage than shown in the inventory. Why do all these multipliers matter? Because they stack with another hidden multiplier that armored enemies have. When you hit an armored enemy with a hammer weapon, you deal 1.5 times damage on top of your weapon's already existing multiplier. This is why weapons like a thick stick fused to a portable pot breaks armor in 4 hits. It's accounting for the multipliers. Except for spears, in my testing. They do not get this 1.5 times damage bonus. This can be proven using a long stick fused to a portable pot, which takes an entire 20 hits to break armor. Had this 1.5 times damage bonus existed, the armor would break in roughly 11 hits, not 20. Now that you understand how armor works, this is the perfect segue into Lynels. The armor that Lynels wear don't have 40, 80, or 200, but a whopping 500 health. So I do not advise using a cooking pot fused to a tree branch for these guys. Red Lynels have 2000 health, blue ones have 3000, white ones have 4000, and silver ones have 5000. A funny thing about Lynel hooves is that they also act as a hammer, so when fused to a bow, it pretty much immediately breaks Lynel armor. And you can also parry all of their attacks, even the Fire Wave one. All Keese types have 1 health, and when parrying a Keese, it will kill it no matter what shield type you use. Octoroks are in a similar vein, each type having 8 HP. For rock Octoroks, you can hit them with a hammer type weapon to break their rock and get them out of hiding. When you feed said Octorok a shield or a weapon, it will fully repair that weapon and give it a random modifier. You can only do this once per Blood Moon cycle per Octorok. For Wizzrobes, there are 2 health types, Tier 1 Wizzrobes and Tier 2 Wizzrobes. For Tier 1, Fire, Ice, and Electric Wizzrobes have 150 health, with Tier 2 Wizzrobes, Meteor, Blizz, and Thunder all having 300. You can easily tell if a Wizzrobe is a Tier 2 one by it wielding a magic rod instead of a regular weapon, or by their more detailed robes. Likes have 200 health, with Fire, Ice, and Rock having 250. Shocklikes, for some reason, have 400. I'm not sure why they have so much more than the other variants, but oh well. As for Rocklikes and their armor, it only has 1 HP, so anything that can break rocks can break their armor. Each Chuchus type shares the same health, but their different sizes have different HP values. Small ones have 10, medium ones have 20, and big ones have 48. Hitting them with an element of the same type will result in them being overcharged and dying immediately without a huge explosion. All Pebblit types have 20 HP, and can only be damaged by hammers. The only catch to this is that they're always scripted to take 2 hits to kill with a one-handed weapon or spear, and 1 hit with a two-handed weapon. To finish off the miscellaneous enemies, Little Froxes have 16 health, Arrokudas have 2 health, Bubble Frogs have 18 health, Gibdos and Moth Gibdos have 60 health. For Yiga Foot Soldiers, they have 72 health, and Yiga Blade Masters have 400 health. But there is a unique variant in the depths who's guarding the door to the main loot, with only a single health point to his name. Must have not eaten enough bananas. For Beast Swarms, they have 2 HP, but will always survive 2 hits no matter what. Evermeans also have a gimmick. They have 40 HP and can only be damaged with sharp weapons. When hitting these guys with an axe, you'll deal 3 times more damage against them. This even works for spears. Now let's move on to bosses. Red Hinox have 600 health, with each next tier having 200 more health. Stalnox also share the same HP value as Stalnox. I don't know why I wrote that in the script, but I meant to say Stalnox have the same HP value as Black Hinox. The gimmick is that their eyeball shares the same HP pool as the Stalnox itself. If you can't find a vantage point to get on top of Hinox to grab its weapons early game, you can always sit on their left hand and wait for them to move it. Stone Taluses have 380 health, with Luminous and Rare Stone Taluses having 620 and 1080 health respectively. Battle Taluses have the same health value as a regular Stone Talus, 380, they just have the gimmick of being a fort for Bokoblins. Igneo Taluses and Frost Taluses share the same health, that being 1000. If you're ever having trouble getting on top of a Battle Talus, you can ascend through the platform on either side. And, showcased in my other series, Hyrule Science, you can use the Muddlebud to frenzy a Battle Talus against the Bokoblins on top of it. Fire, Ice, Shock, and King Gleeoks all share the same health, 8000. During their final phase, Gleeoks will always do something that allows you to get up to them. Fire Gleeoks will launch a huge fireball to create a powerful updraft, Ice Gleeoks will create pillars of ice you can recall, and Thunder Gleeoks will strike the ground with lightning, also creating a powerful updraft. King Gleeoks are a chaotic combination of all three types. Flux Constructs have 4 types. Yes, you heard me correctly, 4. Flux Construct 1s have 360 health, 2s have 720, and 3s have 1080 health. As for the 4th type, that one is the Great Sky Island Construct, with just a mere 200 health. Makes sense considering this is the tutorial area. You can disassemble these guys using Ultra Hand, making their melee attacks useless, and you can even fuse their blocks to weapons. Frox have 700 HP, with Obsidian Frox having 1350, and Blue-White Frox having 2100 HP. When using their sucking move, you can drop any item, including bombs, to interrupt this move. Master Kohga gets his own section here. During your first battle with him, he has 600 health. In the second, he has 900, third, he has 1200. And during your final battle with him in his construct, he has 2200 health. Lastly, we have Moldugas, with 1500 health. I don't really have a fact for this one other than the cannons are really good for these guys. Moving on to main bosses, they have dynamically changing HP. So Gibdo Queens, Marbled Goma, Kolgira, Octorok, and Seized Construct all get a boost to their HP by 25% per defeated main boss. This also includes the depth versions. I really don't want to read all the numbers, so I'll just display them on screen real quick. Moragia has 3 HP, which makes sense considering Unova one-shots each individual head.
Also, as I'm editing this at 5 AM, I just remembered that Sludge-like is a thing. Yeah, Sludge-like has 1000 health. Voiceover done.
The game's final boss, Demon King Ganondorf, has 5 separate health bars. During Phase 1, he has 2500 health. In Phase 2, he has 5000 health. During Phase 3, when he's a dragon, he has 6000 health, with his gooey weak points having 1200 health. Finally, his Secret Stone has 1200 health as well. You might have noticed at this point that I never mentioned Phantom Ganon. This is because I had to fight him dozens of times and his health was very annoying to calculate. The Gloom hands have 250 health, which is pretty straightforward. However, Phantom Ganon has 900 health. This was annoying to calculate because after a few hours of fighting him, I found out that all damage he takes is reduced by 90% for whatever reason. He's the only enemy I found in the game that does this. I have no clue why. Maybe there's a hidden armor system for bosses that I'm not aware of, but for now, that's all I know. You might be wondering, Maya, with all these calculations, what enemy has the most health in the entire game? Well, dear viewer, the award for the chunkiest enemy in the game goes to...
What?
And that's all from me for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something new. Again, please do not take all these numbers as total fact. There's a good chance I made some mistakes here and there, especially with Phantom Ganon, because he's a headache. Again, a spreadsheet will be linked in the description if you'd like to take a look at it. Please subscribe, thanks again for watching, and I wish you a good time zone.